Okay, we have a 4-cavity duplexer, antenna duplexer. We got here's antenna plug-in, and we got 2 channels for 1 antenna, 2 radios. This is low frequency side. Right now it's tuned at 462 megahertz on the low side, and 467 megahertz on the high side. So again, 1 antenna, 2 radios. I've already unlocked the lock nuts for each rod adjuster, for each cavity adjustment. So let's see, this is a Telewave model Tango Papa Romeo Delta -4544 UHF duplexer. Okay, so today we are going to tune to, here's required frequencies from sales and from the customer. If I can get that to roll in. Either way, it's weird. It won't. Just clean my lenses. Alright, so this is 463. The low channel is going to be tuned to 463.6375 megahertz. High channel is going to be at 468.6375 megahertz. So that's a separation of 5 megahertz. So what you do is you take 468.6375 and subtract 463.6375 megahertz. Sounds like a lot, but in reality, if these numbers are the same, it's an even number here. So this is a separation of 5 megahertz. Take 5 megahertz, times it by 2, 10. You got your span. Divided by 2 twice. So divide it by 2 twice equals 2.5. Add your low frequency of 463.6375, and you should come up with 466.1375 megahertz on your center. Very important numbers here to start your calibration. Actually, I need to confirm these numbers. I didn't confirm them, so we're going to check the math one more time again. So we got 468.6375 megahertz minus low frequency, low channel, 463.6375 megahertz. 5 times 2 equals 10, divided by 2 equals 2.5 plus the low frequency of 463.6375 megahertz equals 466.1375. And our numbers match up. As you can see, center's at 466.1375, and I just cleared this out on accident, so now we're ready to calibrate. Actually, we're not ready to calibrate yet. We are going to open up our blah blah blah. Open up the app, and loading. I'm going here. So it is ready to measure. So measure's ready. We're going to move up our spectrum line. Move up our spectrum line here, up to the top row. Let's see if we can see that. There we go. Okay. Spectrum lines moved up, S11 to S21. Stimulus center. So center's already lit up over here, as you can see. numbers lock on, caps on. Center is, what is center? It's 466.1375. 466.1375. M, the caps on for megahertz. And center is at, let's check our center again, 466.1375. On screen, center, 466.1375. Span is next at 10 megahertz. M for megahertz. Again, center checking at center required 466.1375. Center on screen 466.1375. Span is 10. Low marker is, again, our low marker is right here. Low frequency 463.6375. M key for megahertz. High frequency, high marker is 468.1375 megahertz. And we have 4 sets of numbers here, or 4 numbers. We're going to check them again. Center is 466.1375. Screen center 466.1375. Span is 10. Low marker 463.6375. Screen 463.6375. High marker 468. Whoa. Nope. See, we got. This is why you keep going through and going through. Is as you can see here, there's a problem here. If you can find the problem, because this is only a separation of 5 megahertz. The problem here is 0.6375 is what we needed, but the high marker's reading is 468.1375. So I messed that up. We're going to fix it. 468. Oh wait, no, I screwed that up. I know what I did. 63. Okay, so megahertz. And alright, now we're have a separation of 5 megahertz even. High or low marker. So low marker again. Okay. Once again, I like to go through until everything is good. 466 center requirement 466.1375. Center on screen 466.1375. Span at 10 463.6375 468. See, our numbers are good. We're ready to calibrate. Actually. Right there. Okay, so we got 2 lines. There's actually here. There's a spectrum analyzer. It's hooked up to your computer. And there it is. It's got 2 lines here. Antenna and your transmission line going to the this would be the radio. So this is acting as the radio. This is acting as the antenna line. As a testing component. So we're going to calibrate the antenna line. And the transmission line I got in hot pink. Notice how it matches the post-it in the background. Isn't that a coincidence? Short, or I call these a loop. This basically will tell the spectrum analyzer that there is indeed another radio plugged into the duplexer. Through, short, who are you calling short, and open. So we're going to start with open. And transmission line. And so with our open connector and calibration, calibrate, response open. Oh, and then over here, open. Click on open, so class 2, open M, and look for that check mark. Make sure that check mark is there. You can see my cursor up there. So open is done, calibrated. Short going in, short plugging in, calibration, recalibrate, response short, short again, subclass 2, short M, look for the check mark. Short's coming out, through to the transmission line. So we got antenna and transmission line plugged together with a coupler. Okay, that's what we got. Now it's basically, the spectrum analyzer is basically talking to itself right now. Calibration, calibrate, response through. This time you get the check mark on the first click and apply. And stimulus, center, click out. So center's on there. And these guys come apart. Now we're ready to hook up our duplexer. Okay, we took our, let's see. Took our loop or our short, and then again we got high side 467 megahertz, low side is 462. Take the short here on the. This is basically telling the duplexer that a radio is plugged in here, kind of with a fake out. Goes on there. Basic connector.
Sorry, excuse me.
And there's our lovely QC specialist, special agent. Can I say your name? Can I say your name? Our special agent Isabel Martinez, one of the best in the business. And then antenna line, got an antenna. Transmission line. Get that thing in here. So our let's see. So we got the skew, and you look up. We have a list, and you look up your minimum separation of 5 megahertz. Minimum separation of 5 megahertz. The required insertion is 1.0 megahertz. And isolation loss is 90 megahertz. Actually, I didn't get the VSWR on this. Okay, yeah, so VSWR is 20.5 megahertz. 0.5 is kind of weird. So we need insertion of 1.0 and isolation of 90 or better. And VSWR 20.5. Let's see what we can do here. So 4 cavity duplexer. Gonna adjust cavity 1 on the low channel. I'm gonna try to so I need, let's see. On this side, on this low channel, I got the low channel marked in channel 1. I'm going to need this insertion at 1.0 or lower, with isolation at 9.0 or higher. And that's what we're going to do to adjust. Why is this thing squeaky? I'm going to try to bring that insertion down as far as I can. So as you can see, that 8990, we need 1.0, so we got a ways to go. 89. That's cavity 1, low side, cavity 2. We're going to bring it to 1.07, 02, 01, 0. Stops at 1.0 exact. That's never happened before. That's kind of weird. The universe is in a line. Okay, 10. That's good enough. 101. These particular duplexers come with capacitors. What's this thing here? These little things here. So take a little screwdriver and adjust these capacitors. So we're going to do that over here. Low channel, low side, cavity 1, and we're going to actually. The isolation looks good. It's like popping at 80s. Oh no, it doesn't. We need 90s. I'm so used to 70 requirements. So I'm going to try to get that higher number. It's cavity 1, cavity 2, low channel. It's going to be tough. Stop here, stimulus, trigger, hold, and stop at 82, trigger, single, 101, that's good. So that's actually good numbers, 10, the 1.0 on insertion, isolation of 101. Those are good numbers. What we're going to do now is going to we're going to plug in the high side. Okay, high side's going in. Everything's going to be mirrored. Everything's going to be backwards. The graphics going to be backwards. If I get this thing on. Wow, the thing is really being a bear, for lack of better words. So, let's see here. So what we're going to do is mark the high side. Now it's going to be the other way around. We need 10 here and 90 or better up here. Let's see if I can find my links. Six, 9, 5. This is what I'm doing here. I'm adjusting the rod on the high side second cavity. I come back over here. 9994, and then we're going to check our VSWR S11 2725, and they're suggesting, advising 20.5 on VSWR. So I'm gonna try to bring that as close to 20.5 as I can without causing too much of a ruckus. Even though the high side is plugged in, I'm gonna start with the number 2 cavity on the low side channel and just 24. So barely. I want to go to 20, but with this one cavity, I'm going to go just to 24. I'm going to hop back over to the high side cavity tube and bring that closer to 20.5. And now I'm going to hop back over to low side cavity 1. And then high side cavity 20.5. Very feel we put a 0.5 in there. At 0.8, 20.5. VSWR helps you and guides you back to low side cavity 2. 20.8, and then high side cavity 1. Nope. I'm gonna go back 2.5. And low side cavity 1. Okay. 20.5. Both of them. And then we'll see how badly banged up we got. So back to S21. Let's see. We want an insertion of 1.0. We got 0.9 and 90 required for the isolation. Check this out. Freeze it. 77, no good. 78. 90 or better. Come on, 90. I'm going to adjust this. So I'm actually going to use the capacitors. High side cavity 1. Oops. And that's bringing us to cavity 2. High side. Still going to be kind of a pain. Let's see, back to cavity 1, high side. Six, 79, 82, 0, 83, 90. I'm not too crazy about this, but this is passing numbers. 1.0 here or 90 better, but I'm not gonna send duplex out mediocre, so I'm gonna further adjust this so we can get some better numbers on isolation. Let's check that out. Stimulus figure 87, 85. second hind to 98. That's beautiful. So that's good. These are passing numbers for the high side so far. Not out of the woods yet. VSWR is at 28 and 21. We're going to plug back into the low side. Again, you got your loop. If one side is plugged into the transmission line, you got to have this bad boy. I've tuned before and forgot about this and wondered what's going on. Why can't? That's why I always put the short in first before I get up the duplexer. And you'll sit there and go, "What is going on here? Why isn't it? Why am I not getting the numbers I need?" And you realize, "Oh, I forgot to put this little guy in there." It's easy to miss. Get this bad boy in here. 10 and 90s. This is looking good. PSWR's 2222 1.04. So I'm already seeing popping 90s and 100s. So stimulus trigger. Beautiful, excellent numbers. Usually we go to the low side marked. We'll go to the other side. We'll plug back in the high side and lock it in VSWR. So mark high side. We're going to plug back in the high side. Plug the short back in the low side. The high side's plugged, the high side's marked. Let's check it one more time. 82. 89, not good. 103, perfect. VSWR. Okay, so we're going to lock. We're going to lock our these lock nuts on each cavity adjusted rod in VSWR. Why in VSWR? Boy, that screwdriver really wants to roll off the back counter onto the floor. Why in VSWR? Because you can lock all 4 cavities and not have to unplug anything. You'll know. It actually moved. It's 2021, now it's 2121. So I'm going to hold here, this hand, and lock with 7/16 wrench. There's a locking nut. And I'm watching the VSWR numbers. It's 21.3 and 21.4 on the high side. And you don't want that to change as you're locking. And it moved to 20, so I'm going to adjust back up to 21 point something best as I can without deviating from our original numbers. So we got 21. I'm actually back to the original number, 21 and 20.5 ish. So got that locked pretty good. I won't. So the last thing you want to do is send out it's the most important thing you can do probably is locking your adjusting rods. You ship it out like that, unlocked. It's probably going to reach the customer untuned, and your customer's not going to be happy. And so high side cavity 2. cavities. So you can see the numbers. Recheck the high side cavity 2 real quick. Okay, high side cavity 2. Cavity 1, low side. That's moved a little bit, so I'm going to adjust it back out. Even with the lock nuts down, sometimes you can still muscle it and adjust. As long as it can't move during shipment or during installation. So 21.6ish, 20.2, that's close enough. And we're going to check isolation and insertion, 0.9. 91, so that's an acceptable number. That's 11. That's 20. So, one thing you can do again is lock your adjusting rods. Side plug, low side port, 10, another 310, so that's pretty good. I thought this was lower, but good enough. So we've locked our adjusting rods. Didn't move any loops today, which is fine. So I'm going to stick this at 10 and 103. So insertion's 1.0, 4, isolation 103.2. Good to go. So we're ready to take pictures. Bring up the picture taking app over here. This is Snagit. We're going to capture and over the other screen, full screen, and back over. Base on here good enough. And open this dialog window. Let's check one more time. 466 1375. On screen 466 1375. Span at 10. 463 6375 and 68. Looks good. Sales order number. Anyhow, just do the information, print out the sheets, and that is how we tune a duplexer, a 450 to 470 megahertz duplexer.